Alright, The Legend of Zelda Retrospective, Nintendrone. Overall, this video is pretty good. Overall, I'd say I enjoy it. I would say the biggest problem with this video in particular, and this isn't necessarily a major issue, but I would say one of the biggest issues with this video is, unlike a lot of the other retrospectives, like the Mario Kart one, for example, this one I spend a lot more time kind of like talking about all the mechanics and details and stuff of The Legend of Zelda as the games progress. And I think it's good, and I think it's important to talk about. But I think one of the major, one of the problems with it is, you know, of course, you know, this is Legend of Zelda. It's a popular series. So obviously this video was pretty popular overall, and it attracted a lot of new people to the channel. So one of the major problems with this video, specifically, kind of uniquely, just this video, is I spent like the good half of this video kind of just being like pretty professional overall and kind of just talking about all the changes and kind of just some like opinionated stuff overall, but really nothing too controversial. And then I want to say, after I finished talking about Ocarina of Time, you know, that's the point where like I finished talking about 3D Zelda. I'm heading into the Majora's Mask section, and now things get a bit more controversial and opinionated and more, you know, HyperCharge. You know what I mean? And that's where I think a lot of like new people to the channel get like fucking turned away, because at first they think at first they're watching the first like 20 minutes of this video thinking, oh wow, this is a pretty like professional put together retrospective of The Legend of Zelda. I'm really enjoying this video. And then they get to like the Majora's Mask video, and I'm like, if you hate this game, you're a fucking idiot. And then it's like, okay. And then I start talking about Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, and it's just going off the fucking rails. So yeah, I feel like if this is like the first HyperCharge video you watch, it's kind of just unfortunate, because I like trick people unintentionally into thinking that like this is like a normal YouTube channel, you know? And yeah, so this video overall, it hits that controversial 85% like to dislike ratio, which is like still pretty good, but it's like, yeah, some people got mad, which I'm fine with. I don't give a fuck, you know, fuck them, you know, but that's probably the only problem I have with this video. Cause yeah, like with the Mario Kart video, for example, the Mario Kart retrospective, which I think is really good. That one, it's like a little bit of the homework, a little bit of the book report stuff, a little bit of hot takes, a little bit of HyperCharge goofiness sprinkled in throughout. And it kind of goes back and forth with each game I talk about, and it's a pretty good blend overall. But this one, this Legend of Zelda retrospective, it's like it's mostly all like homework book report stuff at the beginning, and then it's super hot takes, controversial takes at the end of the video, the latter half. And yeah, I think there's maybe a better balance I could have struck that I wasn't reaching during the time. And this is kind of the problem I have when not necessarily a problem moving forward, but definitely a problem I had during the time where I'm really not making videos with like new viewers in mind. Like, I don't give a shit if like some new person shows up and they like don't get what the fuck's going on, you know? And that's kind of one of the reasons I hate making these Nintendrone videos, if I'm being completely honest, is because while they are really popular and they do bring in like a new batch of viewers, it is like really fucking annoying when like it brings in all these new people that just complain about like all this dumb shit. It's like fucking annoying. It's like, oh, this guy swears a lot. Oh, like shut the fuck up. Go away. Fuck off. Go away. Watch something else if you don't like it, you know? And that, ironically, that's, and not I keep saying that, but unironically, like that's why I love making the uncivil synopsis videos, despite them not getting as much views as the Nintendrone videos. Because man, when I make those uncivil synopsis videos, it's just all the people that are subscribed to my channel watching the video, and we're all having fun. We're all having a good time. There's not like dumbasses coming in, like 55-year-old grandmas coming in just like, he's swearing too much. I don't like this. This is not a very appropriate, you know, like fuck off, you know, go away. Okay, this is my video. I'm talking about my experience playing Legend of Zelda. If you don't like that, go watch something else. Fuck off. Yeah, like, but that's kind of the main problem I have with these, that's kind of the only problem with this video, is that I kind of structure it early on as sort of like almost like a generic kind of boring YouTuber would. And then it takes a while for the sauce, the HyperCharge seasoning to kind of kick in. So yeah, obviously one of the common criticisms I get with these retrospective reviews, these retrospective videos, is that where it's kind of like, this isn't really a retrospective. This is more just a review of every single game. And it's like, hey, dumb fuck. What do you think a retrospective is? Google search what a retrospective is. It's a compilation of work over the course of its lifetime. Okay? Here's the first game. I'm talking about the first game. Here's a second game. I'm talking about the second game. And again, it's like, it's just one of those things that like, I don't know what the fuck is up with some people who watch YouTube, man. But like, it's just like, yeah, because I'm kind of doing it my own way, and I'm using curse words, and I'm kind of just reviewing things from my perspective, and I'm not like sucking off Nintendo the whole time, you know. Oh, I guess it's not a retrospective. It's not like, in their mind, it has to be like some bullshit where like, yeah, you're just like sucking Nintendo off the whole time and just talking about how amazing Legend of Zelda is no matter what, despite even if like the game sucked dick, you know? Because again, it's a retrospective. That's a fancy word. You have to type it into YouTube, and it means if you call something a retrospective, it means you're polite and proper, and it's like, the fuck is wrong with you, bro? You know what I mean? Like, and this is the thing, like, this is kind of a weird tangent I'm kind of going on, but like, I have to be completely honest, like, I don't give a fuck about the developer's perspective when I'm talking about these games. You know what I mean? Because, like, at the end of the day, the fan perspective, my perspective, or like the perspectives of other people who play these games, those are the most important aspects of these videos and what I focus on the most. Because, like, yeah, at the end of the day, like, that's what's going to dictate, like, the legacy, you know, of The Legend of Zelda, you know? People aren't going to remember how, like, innovative the motion controls of Skyward Sword were. They're going to remember, like, oh, man, like, yeah, like, a lot of people didn't like this game because it's like fucking shitty and annoying. And, like, you have to go back to the same 3 places, like, 3 times, you know? And, like, that's the stuff, because that perspective from the fan perspective is much more important, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, like, sure, it's important to talk about, you know, like, the developers during the time, or like how they were approaching the game during the time, but really it just doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't fucking matter. Because at the end of the game, at the end of the day, you know, once the game's released and it's just out in the world, you know, everything they've done up to, like, it doesn't fucking matter, bro. You know, they put the pencils down, the game's out, and now it's the fan reception that kind of determines whether the game is seen as a good game or a bad game. You know? What am I even talking about? I'm kind of going on a rant. But anyways, like, these videos are fucking retrospectives. Look up what a retrospective is. I'm just going to literally type into Google right now. Retrospective, noun. An exhibition or compilation showing the development of a work of a particular... I think I did, like, I did post this description in one of the retrospectives later down the road. I think, like, very as a petty response to these kind of comments. But essentially, an exhibition or compilation showing the development of a work, parentheses, The Legend of Zelda, of a particular artist, parentheses, Nintendo, over a period of time, which is the first game to Breath of the Wild. That's all a retrospective is. That's all it is. Okay? And I'm just doing it my way. All right? And if you don't like that, go watch some other bullshit, okay? And obviously, I'm ranting. I'm preaching to the choir at this point because anyone who's watching these videos kind of already gets it, but I'm just ranting. I'm being a little petty bitch. But yeah, here we are at Majora's Mask. Wow, I'm already talking about Majora's Mask, huh? Yeah, I would say this is where things start going off the rails. Because at this point in time, like, I'm like defending Majora's Mask because I love Majora's Mask. And I feel like the time, like, people always like shit on the time cycle stuff. It's like, oh, I don't like being timed. And it's like, I feel like that's a complaint from people who just never play the game, bro. Like, because it's so, because the way Majora's Mask is structured, it's so easy to like the second you get an Ocarina of Time song or you get an item, like, it's structured incredibly well to where the second you get stuff like that, it's essentially like a checkpoint in universe, you know? And that's basically what I'm explaining there.
Maybe it's challenging for you to complete the dungeon within the full 3-day cycle, but you don't even have to do that. All you have to do is complete half the dungeon in order to get the item. Then you can just reset.
Now, one weird thing I noticed is that during the time, I had this really weird cadence in my voice. I don't know why. Like this specific period of time, I'm talking like this have this weird, like, very direct kind of pronunciation of the words, where I'm like, Majora's Mask is the greatest game of all time. The Romani's Mask is really good. You know, like, I don't know why I'm talking like that. It's very bizarre. And maybe that's why people got mad, because I'm putting on this like pseudo professional voiceover kind of type shit. And then I'm talking about like fucking, once I get to like Skyward Sword, it's just like, this shit fucking sucks. Fuck everyone. No, it's like, that's also another reason why I think this video isn't as popular. Not like as it's a pretty popular video. It's like a little controversial. There's just, especially for The Legend of Zelda, there's a lot of hot takes. Way more hot takes than I probably should give, because, man, like, especially with The Legend of Zelda, like, people get super, like, emotionally attached to, like, their favorite Zelda game, so, and I do shit on, like, especially in this video, I shit on Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword probably a lot more than I should. And I think the reason I did that was because during the time, I think this was the era of time when like Breath of the Wild just came out. And like, I'm super just like, Breath of the Wild is the greatest game of all time. Holy fucking shit. Like this came out like a month after Breath of the Wild or so. Like, what was this? Yeah, because Breath of the Wild and the Switch came out in like March 2017, and I made this video in May, like the 1st of May in 2017. So just keep in mind with this video specifically, it came out like right after Breath of the Wild came out, and man, I think during the time, I definitely had a lot of feelings, especially when Skyward Sword came out, where like, man, like The Legend of Zelda is getting super fucking stale. It's like going through the motions. It's not doing anything exciting. So yeah, when Breath of the Wild came out, it was like, holy fucking shit, this is it. This is what I want, you know? And yeah, definitely during the time, there was a lot of pushback from like hardcore Zelda fans that like hated the new format of the series, where like they just hated Breath of the Wild because like there's no dungeons, there's no items. It completely like fucking flipped everything on its head. And yeah, from my perspective, that was fucking awesome, because it's like, holy shit, dude, like Skyward Sword was just like going through the motions. It's just the motion control sucked. It's just like, oh, we're still getting the same 3 things to do the thing, and the dungeons are getting stale. It's just like, So definitely, you know, and then kind of the same thing with Twilight Princess, where it's kind of just like retreading Ocarina of Time. You know, it's like, They did the wolf transformation. It's just like Majora's Mask shit again. Not really, you know, it's like. So I would say in this video in particular, this is definitely kind of a time capsule for how I felt right when Breath of the Wild came out, because holy shit, like in this video in particular, I definitely noticed that I'm probably shitting on Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword way more than I should have. And I think the reason for that is because, yeah, dude, Breath of the Wild came out and I just felt so like validated. Like Breath of the Wild was like the game I had in my brain that like, god damn it, why can't Nintendo just make this game? And then they fucking made it, and it was amazing, right? And again, there was also a lot of pushback from hardcore Zelda fans. They're like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this new direction. I think it sucks. I don't like this. I liked Twilight Princess. I liked Skyward Sword. I liked Wind Waker and Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, and this new stuff is scary. I like the old stuff. So again, I'm like, so I felt like, especially in this video, I'm kind of like shitting on that. Like, bro, you guys are fucking dumb. Bro, like this new Zelda stuff this new Zelda is fucking awesome. You guys are fucking crazy. And I think that's also why I was kind of shitting on Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, and kind of shitting on that, like that hardcore Zelda mindset where it's like, no guys, like these old games, they're good, but like, dude, this new shit is awesome. And I do think that's why some people dislike this video too, because we're still like, Breath of the Wild is still like a hot button issue at this point. And yeah, I think nowadays people look back on Breath of the Wild, they're like, dude, that game's awesome. You know, maybe they complain about the durability on the items and weapons and stuff, but like besides that, like I feel like Breath of the Wild, it has kind of proven its staying power. And nowadays, people kind of just shit on like Tears of the Kingdom because it's like, oh, it's the same as Breath of the Wild, but like Tears of the Kingdom was fucking awesome too. Maybe it retreaded stuff a little too much, but that game was fucking great too. But yeah, man, like
That was pretty good for the B tier shit.
I'm still all in on the new kind of 3D Zelda of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I think those games are so fucking good.
Than any of the top-down Zelda games. In 2000,
And I'm definitely still nostalgic for like
Zelda game on the GameCube.
Ocarina of Time to Skyward Sword kind of era of Zelda.
From Ocarina of Time, where adult Link kills
And you know what? Maybe if like Nintendo puts out a third kind of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom-esque game, and it kind of feels like, oh, we're retreading old ground. This is kind of
islands in the Great Sea.
Maybe if they went back after that and like made something similar to these games, I'd be okay with that. You know, I wouldn't care. But
Having to awaken the power of the Master Sword in order
I think at this point, I'm still kind of looking to see how Nintendo's going to improve like the Breath of the Wild style of games. I still think there's a lot of potential there.
It was initially hated by fans because they wanted to see the
Because one complaint I do have about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is that
a more mature tone. People wrote off the Wind Waker.
yeah, the dungeon structure is a little it's like
I think Nintendo made the right decision since the Wind
because I would say the best things about Ocarina of Time to Skyward Sword era of Zelda is, yeah, the dungeons are like almost the highlight of the game.
in the Great Sea.
Whereas Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it's more about like the open world experience, and the dungeons are kind of like a much smaller type of. They're just not as important.
Being able to see silhouettes of islands out in the distance and traveling straight to them with no interruption in gameplay brings back the feeling of exploration that the 3D games were somewhat lacking. In order to travel the ocean, you would have to change the direction of the wind with the Wind Waker, which is an instrument similar to the ocarina. You would use the C stick to play certain notes and the analog stick to change the time signature, allowing you to conduct a variety of songs. One of the more interesting additions to the game are the
Yeah, but again, we're like 20 minutes into the video, and I'm still kind of just doing like
car with ease, the
very like straightforward, like
puzzles in their respective dungeons.
this is the Wind Waker,
Similar to Ocarina of
these are the new stuff, this is the new stuff, yada yada, you know.
sensitive parry attack that can be used to
So in many ways, like,
as well as the Hurricane Spin, which is an upgrade version of the spin attack that you can unlock
it's not like as
stick to freely
I guess fun to watch
in the series, which
as maybe like the Mario Kart retrospective.
one of the more disappointing things about the Wind Waker was that there was clearly
But I don't know, I kind of just vibe with it. I don't know, like
obtain the 3 pearls to open up the Tower of the Gods. The game is set up to follow the established formula from A Link to the
but
Past.
yeah, I do think like
The Wind Waker
there is like a subset of people who watch my videos that are like, yeah,
Great Fish Isle and
I don't watch these videos for this stuff. I watch it for like you to say some dumb shit and like
you obtain the 3rd pearl by
I mean, I get it.
Sunset Island.
That's fair,
That Great
but
Fish Isle was supposed to be the home of another.
I don't know, I'm kind of vibing with this video. I do
There's even some proof of this in the
I do enjoy it because
you would have found each pearl reveal the shape of the
again, one of the goals I kind of have with these retrospectives is retrospectives. Am I saying that? Retrospectives.
destruction of Great Fish Isle allowed them
I'm like saying it too much now that it sounds weird when I'm saying it, but
to possibly remove
one of the goals I have with these kinds of videos is
the Master Sword in order to compensate for cut content.
I want to like explain
A lot of people didn't really
the changes
part of the game required
from the perspective of someone who knows nothing about Zelda,
hunting quest.
you know?
Completely understand why some
Like I feel like if you have never played a Legend of Zelda game, you have no idea what the fuck even anything is.
your first playthrough.
I want you to be able to click this video and kind of understand it from start to finish.
It's fine if you still want to explore the island.
Like for example, like, you know,
Yes. While the cut content is kind of disappointing, it's still very enjoyable.
because I want to like be able to involve as many people as I can into these videos and kind of and in a way to where like I don't want this to be a video just for the fans of The Legend of Zelda, you know?
It's a game that everyone likes. While the original game felt like
And that's been my goal with like the YouTube my entire YouTube channel. You know, I want everyone to enjoy all the videos I make.
the same exact story with
You know what I mean? That was like the whole goal with like, Uncivil Synopsis. Like, yeah, the Zelda videos pop off, but if you like the Zelda videos, I want you to also watch like the Yakuza videos. You know, because I want people to enjoy the format, not necessarily just because they like the game. You know, and I'm kind of doing the same thing with Nintendrone. Like, yeah, maybe you just want to watch like the Mario Nintendrones, but I want to structure these videos in such a way to where you'll enjoy all of them, you know?
explore an entire house or cave while everyone else was exploring stuff on the TV screen.
So I'm trying to, when I make these retrospectives, I'm trying to like accommodate as many people as I can. Except the people who like complain that I swear too much and are kind of annoying. Like they can fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, this is a pretty funny bit. And again, this is kind of where I'm like, this is the part of the video where I'm definitely like diverging away from the proper kind of sit down, glasses on, monocle, cigar smoking next to a fireplace, elegantly talking about all the mechanics. And now I'm in my harp. Now I'm ranting about dumb shit. Now I'm ranting. Now I'm going crazy. I'm talking about that dumb fuck with the fire rod. You know, this is the kind of stuff that was missing from the beginning of the video. That so I do think this video picks up, definitely. And I definitely needed a better mix of like somehow incorporating like those kinds of ranty fun sections to talk about earlier in the videos. Earlier when I'm talking about like, you know, the NES games and whatnot, the 2D Zeldas and whatnot. So
Four Swords Adventures kind of stands out as this weird multiplayer Zelda game that people don't really care about. It's honestly one of my favorite Zelda games, and it's just so much fucking fun. About a year later, Nintendo released the next handheld game for the Game Boy Advance, Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. The story,
yeah, and especially at this part of the video, like, you know, I've already talked about, you know, like, and I think the reason I've kind of unintentionally made that decision, or not the decision, but like, the reason I unintentionally stopped talking about as much like, you know, homework, gameplay mechanics and started drifting over to more like jokes and stuff is because at this point in the video, like, you know, I've already talked about, you know, the top down. I've already talked about Link to the Past. I've already talked about Ocarina of Time. I've already talked about the older Zelda games. And those are all kind of like the mechanical foundations for the series. And now that all that stuff's out of the way, there really isn't that much new stuff to talk about. Like, and I think that's why I started like, I think that's why I just kind of unintentionally started like just adding in more jokes and stuff, because if I definitely wasn't ranting as much or doing more jokes at the later half of these videos, the later half of these Zelda games, like, there really wouldn't be that much to talk about, because again, like, Twilight Princess is just Ocarina of Time again. There's like there's not that much to talk about, you know?
Very loosely connected to Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, but the addition of the Twilight Realm might as well mean that none of the previous games matter. It's not supposed to be a sequel to Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time. They basically just wanted to make Ocarina of Time again, so that's what they fucking did.
Like, again, like, Wolf Link is basically like a Majora's Mask transformation, you know? A lot of the gameplay is just like Ocarina of Time. You know, there's really nothing like that new to explain. So now, with all that stuff kind of out of the way and talked about, now I'm kind of just going into my hot takes, you know? And again, a lot of people are getting turned off by that, I think, at this point in the video. Or at least all the new people who are coming in. I think all the people who watch my channel are like, oh, this is where, now the video's getting good, but I feel like the new people who are like, who just came in and just like innocently wanted to like hear me like boringly talk about each game in the most like monotone way possible, like they're like getting mad now, you know? And again, I don't know what the fuck people want from me, you know? Cause it's just like, or at least those people, you know what I mean? Cause it's like, yeah, bro, I could go on Wikipedia and just copy and paste stats and like, yeah, I guess, like, is that what you want? Is that like a fun video? I don't know. Like, I don't gel. There's a big disconnect I have with some people who like watch these retrospectives, because it's like, no, like they just want a boring ass video where like I just, you know, suck off Legend of Zelda and talk about how each game is great and amazing, how Legend of Zelda is amazing, and like, oh, here's an amazing game, and here's an amazing game, and oh, this game is even more amazing than the last one, and just have no interesting things to talk about, and like that. I don't know, man. Like, that's just why the fuck would I make that video? But some people do make those videos. A lot of people make those videos, and they're more popular than me for a reason, you know? Anyways, here I'm definitely shitting on Phantom Hourglass. Deservedly so. This game was just fucking garbage. And I do think the downside to this is that I definitely shit on Spirit Tracks because Phantom Hourglass sucked dick, which is a little unfair. Maybe if I made this video nowadays, I would have definitely like went back and like played Spirit Tracks and kind of given a more honest review. But again, from my perspective, you know, from a fan perspective, like if Phantom Hourglass sucked dick and Spirit Tracks is basically the same exact thing as Phantom Hourglass in terms of like the mechanics and the style, you know, why the fuck would I buy Spirit Tracks when Phantom Hourglass sucked dick? It doesn't make any sense, you know? And yeah, maybe Spirit Tracks is like the best Zelda game ever, you know, but it also came out in the context of Phantom Hourglass sucking a fat dick, you know? And that's kind of why the context of this game coming out, it matters, right? Because if this game came out like before Phantom Hourglass and maybe it was better, you know, I would have played it, you know? But now I'm talking about why I didn't play Spirit Tracks because Phantom Hourglass sucked dick. And that's obviously why I didn't play Spirit Tracks. And I feel like, again, the fan perspective, I feel like a lot of people, like I wasn't the only one who did that. Like a lot of Zelda fans did that. Okay? There aren't a lot of people who, like a lot of people who hated Phantom Hourglass ended up not playing Spirit Tracks. Okay? And that's just the reality of the situation. And I feel like that's interesting to talk about. That's like a memory that I had with the series, and that's something that I wanted to talk about. And again, if I took this from like a developer perspective, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck Nintendo, bro. I don't care about Nintendo. You know, I'm talking about me. All right, this is a video I made about me and my feelings. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, if you know, anyways, it's just like a fundamental disagreement I have with some people who watch these videos.
I don't even know why they bothered. The goal of the game was to save Zelda and to eventually kill Demise. But he's actually fucking Gandorf, but they just called him.
And again, here I am shitting on Skyward Sword. Honestly, like way more than I did in the Uncivil Synopsis video. Because again, like the reason Skyward Sword is like quote unquote bad for a lot of people isn't because like the game itself is like terrible. Like it's a pretty good Zelda game overall. But the context of this video not the video, the context of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword is that it came out in 2011 on like the tail end of the Wii. And we waited so fucking long. Like after Twilight Princess came out, we waited like 5 fucking years for this game to come out, and it's just like, oh, it's just more of the same. You know, it's like at the tail end of the Wii, when the console is on its death throes, and we're just getting this like this like a terrible sky section. It's like the Wind Waker, but it's worse. And then you get like, you know, just like, I don't know. It's just like the reason this game is bad is because it came out in 2011. That's why it's bad. Okay? Because think of it this way, like if Skyward, in a hypothetical world, if Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess like switch places, like legitimately, I feel like people would be a lot kinder to Skyward Sword. I'm not even joking. Like if Skyward Sword came out in a world where it didn't have Wii Motion Plus and it came out like at launch with the Wii and it was on GameCube, I think people would have more fond memories of Skyward Sword. But let's say like Twilight Princess was released at the tail end of the Wii, and it had, you know, and it had the Wii Motion Plus. I feel like people would be shitting on Twilight Princess way more, because the main problem is it came out in 2011, and like this was like a tired old formula at this point. So in many respects, Skyward Sword gets shit on the most because, again, like they're just recycling the Ocarina of Time formula way too much at this point. And it's just, nothing is new. It's like, oh, there's the eyeball monster, shoot him with the arrow. You know, it's just, it's so like I feel like, especially at this point in time, it's like, you can start like a Zelda video. You could play a new Zelda game and like, you knew everything already. Like you knew what was going to happen. You were going to go to the forest area and the lava area and the desert area. And, you'll go to the third dungeon, and then something will happen, and you have to go to 3 more places, and the new thing, like the entire game, like you just knew what it was going to be, and that's fucking boring.
So of course, Skyward Sword comes out. None of these idiots even play the game. It turns out to be fucking garbage, and critics rate it 10 out of 10, regardless of the actual quality.
And this is a really interesting point where, again, I'm doing some like foreshadowing for the Wii video that's going to be released later down the road. Not even like purposely so. Like I'm not like intentionally kind of hinting at things to come. I legitimately just like had those opinions on the Wii. And then by the time I made the Wii video, I just elaborated on it more, you know? But yeah, man, dude, when
So in 2013, Nintendo finally pulled their head out of their ass and released
yeah, just the Wii, the last era, the era of the latter half of the Wii, like that was just like when Nintendo was at their worst. I feel like they were commercially, they had a shit ton of money because the Wii was like gangbusters, but like, man, like that was like creatively like one of the worst times to be a fan of Nintendo. And it definitely, that energy carried over with the Wii U, and it just became like a financial failure as a result, you know. And again, I'll talk about that when we get to the Wii U video, but
you can spend rupees to get whatever items you need, but if you die, you lose all the items you borrowed. This is one of the best additions because now you have the freedom to get whatever you want right at the beginning of the game. Another new addition.
But yeah, I definitely was, and I think now if I made this video nowadays, I feel like I would have given Skyward Sword a bit of the benefit of the doubt. And again, I think the reason why I was shitting on it so much was because Breath of the Wild just came out, and I was like completely validated on like, yeah, dude, this old shit sucked ass. And now we're moving on to better things. Because honestly, like, yeah, I think nowadays I can kind of look back more fondly at like the older 3D Zelda games, and I'm a bit more like nostalgic for it now, you know? Whereas I feel like during the time, like when I made these videos, I was like, yo, during the time when I made these videos, like, fuck that old shit. Breath of the Wild's here, bro. This shit's fucking amazing. I feel like I've said that like 15 times already, but
I commend Nintendo for attempting to make another multiplayer Zelda game, but nowadays it's just not.
This is funny. I've never actually played Triforce Heroes, but this is kind of a funny bit again, where I'm kind of just talking about like, bro, multiplayer Zelda, you gotta like have people in the same room as you. I'm not playing online. You know what I mean?
Of 4 friends screaming in front of a TV. Even worse, having to communicate with random players online can be a bit frustrating. While I enjoy the occasional fuckhead who burns everyone with the fire rod, sometimes you just need to get your shit together so you can move on to the next level. After a while, you just have to look over to your buddy and tell him to stop fucking around. The problem
Can you even play that game nowadays? I don't even know.
my buddy is being a dipshit in Four Swords Adventures, I can just frag that bitch with a fucking Game Boy Advance. If someone's being annoying online, you just have to suck it up.
Can you play this game single player? I don't even know, man.
Four Swords Adventures, I avoided this game.
Maybe you can, but
I didn't give a fuck. The single player didn't look too appealing.
I do at some point kind of want to go back and play these like Zelda games that like I never played because
every character also shares the same
kind of just for curiosity. But man, like
come up with. There were some interesting mechanics like
I definitely want to try Spirit Tracks at least because I feel like that game I definitely did dirty.
If they put out bad
But
handheld games, I don't really care.
Triforce Heroes, I don't have to play that. Fuck that.
But that's fine, because at least Nintendo is trying to do different shit. And thank fucking God for that, because in 2017, we got a brand new 3D Zelda game for the Wii U and the Switch. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is the best fucking Zelda game I've played in years for the history of the entire franchise. We've had the top-down Zelda games inspired by Zelda 1, and we had the 3D Zelda
But yeah,
games
as I mentioned with
time. But
as I mentioned in the Super Mario retrospective, like this is the kind of
it just removes
like having Breath of the Wild at the end of this video, like
games and
once Breath of the Wild came out, it's like, okay, I'm making a Legend of Zelda retrospective. Like this is the time.
Wild is the first
And
in a very long
you can totally like it makes such a huge difference because it's like
pace. The game immediately
the overarching story of like this retrospective is just so good with Breath of the Wild at the end because it's like
cryosis in your paraglider. You just go. Just fucking go. Well, where's the
yeah.
Don't have to do that one first.
That's a fuck. This is such an awesome bit.
Go anywhere.
Where's the forest dungeon? I want to do the forest dungeon. Shut the fuck up. You know.
Zelda game. Combat is similar to the previous games.
God,
Add so many mechanics.
Breath of the Wild. I still love this game.
Different game. You got your one-handed sword, your two-handed sword, your
I definitely do want to go back and play it at some point because I played the shit out of this game and Tears of the Kingdom, and I do want to see like what Breath of the Wild would be like after already playing Tears of the Kingdom. Like,
you can use your shields to surf down a fucking
I think it might. I'm curious to see if it holds up still because Tears of the Kingdom is so like objectively better than Breath of the Wild because it's basically just the same game that they built up on, but again, it's kind of like a Ocarina of Time Majora's Mask situation, you know? Because, like, again, the reason why Breath of the Wild is so good is because it came out first. You know, it established all the cool shit that, like, Tears of the Kingdom was just allowed to kind of just borrow and build off of. You know? Because Tears of the Kingdom is so, like, objectively better, but it's not like a new experience, whereas this game is like a brand new experience, but it has like a little bit more like flaws with it, you know? Which again, I feel like is kind of perfectly represents the like Ocarina of Majora's Mask kind of dichotomy that I always talk about, you know? Dungeons have also received a major overhaul, with most of the dungeons being I am definitely excited to see like the next Zelda game though, because yeah,
orbs are basically this game's equivalent of heart pieces.
Tears of the Kingdom recycling the most of the overworld from this game, like a little lame, but if it saved time on development and we wouldn't have gotten Tears of the Kingdom as a result, maybe that's worth the compromise, you know, but yeah, for the next Zelda game, like we definitely do got to get like a new place to explore, like a new world map, new shit, you know. Because if they make a third Zelda game where like a third Breath of the Wild game where it's still like recycling all this old shit, like that would be kind of lame. And again, like, I think a lot of people like forget like yeah, it's completely underwhelming to like play Breath of the Wild for like 2 hours and like rush to Ganon and like beat the shit out of him, you know? And it is totally like why would they make a game like that? But like the fact that they made the game like that is why it was so fucking cool during the time, you know? because we lived in this like world where like games are full of like, you know, these linear like stories with all this cutscenes, and the fact that you're able to just rush to the end and just beat it in like 2 hours is fucking ballsy. Like that's such a ballsy decision. That like no one during the time would ever do that, you know, besides like Nintendo. Like that's such a like Nintendo move, you know. And especially being able to like actually like self-reflect on like the series and like the roots of the series with like how and making like a 3D Zelda game like Zelda 1 was, you know, like it's so fucking cool. Bro, it's so fucking cool. Like, and that's basically what I'm talking about right now, you know. Yeah, man, during the time everyone's like, now they gotta make a dark game. Tears of the Kingdom has to be dark like Majora's Mask. It's like, bro, but that's why Majora's Mask was cool, because it wasn't like doing that shit. You know, they're doing their own shit, you know, like, anyways, like, I don't know, man. People just don't like, people don't think about this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, man, like, it's the same. Like, I feel like I talked about this when, I was talking about the RE4 video, the RE4 remake video. And I went through this whole bit where I was talking about like remakes and stuff, and like, yeah, man, like RE4 was made in a specific mindset, and the people are like trying to come back to that and like revisit that energy. It just doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, and people are saying the same thing. It's like if they went into Tears of the Kingdom trying to make Majora's Mask, like, I don't think that would have turned out well. I don't know. But yeah, end of the video. Legend of Zelda. Overall, this is a pretty good video. I enjoy this video overall. Again, because it's Legend of Zelda, I'm definitely talking way too much about like the mechanics and shit, and I know some people find that a bit boring, but yeah, overall I love this video. There are definitely some flaws. I do think the fact that like if this is like the first video you're watching of mine, and this is like your introduction to me, like this is not a good introduction. Because I almost am like too like presenting myself as like a normal person in the first like 20 minutes or so, and then just goes off the fucking rails. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, man. Besides that, this video is great. I enjoy it overall. Definitely not the best retrospective overall, but pretty good still. And again, like I mentioned before, I was planning on making an ending to this video very similar to the Super Mario Nintendrone, where it would have like some music and like it would like transition between the games and kind of give this like cool like vibe. And I think I was planning on using the Breath of the Wild trailer music, because that music is a fucking banger. The music they used in the trailer for Breath of the Wild. Yeah, man, I think the problem I had was it was just lasting way too long, and I was just running into so many like copyright issues when I was uploading the final video, and like, yeah, man, just I was not avoiding the copyright claims on this video with that kind of ending. So it's a bummer, because I thought it'd be cool. Like, I was gonna do a part where like Link in the original game, the NES game, he walks into the cave to grab the sword, and then when he walks out, it would transition to like Breath of the Wild. And I feel like that would have been really a cool ending to have, but unfortunately did not work out, because Nintendo are a bunch of assholes who claim all their music and shit, and they're just being fucking dicks. But overall, despite that failed kind of ending, I do think the ending still works out, and the video's already really fucking long as is, so maybe if I added that into, it'd be a bit too much. But yeah. Anyways, now I'm just fucking rambling now, so let's fucking move on.